actually going to tackle the quantum computers thing first. I mean, granted, I am just typing. All right. Sweet. Hell yeah. I'm gonna read that later. So here's the thing. Will not kill the crypto star. So when you type that in, you have a whole bunch of stuff saying that it's gonna end. A lot of it recently. Oh, I should have gone on this a little bit earlier, but they're saying that it's not gonna kill crypto, and here's the reason being. It's a very important one. So they're saying that. Hold on one sec. Hell yeah, Latanya Pierce, thanks for following. Okay. I don't know what just happened to my stream. Twitch is so weird. Alright. Here we go. Quantum computers, they say, will break cryptocurrency because they can break encryption. So, and the whole reason that this is so popular is that encryption supports the blockchain technology. That's the main factor behind blockchain technology, is that it's safe, secure, and it not able to be hacked. So the thing with that is that people were saying this is a short-term thing. Bitcoin's gonna die because quantum computers will break encryption and thus break Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies that are following in its footpath. So we're going to figure out what quantum computers are and why they are going to help Bitcoin. Here we go.
Most of our history, human technology consisted of our brains, fire, and sharp sticks. While fire and sharp sticks became power plants and nuclear weapons, the biggest upgrade has happened to our brains. Since the 1960s, the power of our brain machines has kept growing exponentially, allowing computers to get smaller and more powerful at the same time. But this process is about to meet its physical limits. Computer parts are approaching the size of an atom. To understand why this is
Computer parts are approaching the size of an atom.
a problem, we have to clear up some basics. A computer is made up of very simple components doing very simple things, representing data, the means of processing it, and control mechanisms. Computer chips contain modules, which contain logic gates, which contain transistors.
Got that?
A transistor is the simplest form of a data processor in computers, basically a switch that can either block or open the way for information coming through. This information is made up of bits, which can be set to either 0 or 1. Combinations of several bits are used to represent more complex information. Transistors are combined to create logic gates, which still do very simple stuff. For example, an AND gate sends an output of 1 if all of its inputs are 1, and an output of 0 otherwise. Combinations of logic gates finally form meaningful modules, say for adding two numbers. Once you can add, you can also multiply, and once you can multiply, you can basically do anything. Since all basic operations are literally simpler than first grade math, you can imagine a computer as a group of 7-year-olds answering really basic math questions. A large enough bunch of them could compute anything from astrophysics to Zelda. However, with parts getting tinier and tinier, quantum physics are making things tricky. In a nutshell, a transistor is just an electric switch. Electricity is electrons moving from one place to another, so a switch is a passage that can block electrons from moving in one direction. Today, a typical scale for transistors is 14 nanometers, which is about 8 times less than the HIV virus's diameter and 500 times smaller than a red blood cell's. As transistors are shrinking to the size of only a few atoms, electrons may just transfer themselves to the other side of a blocked passage via a process called quantum tunneling. In the quantum realm, physics works quite differently from the predictable ways we're used to, and traditional computers just stop making sense. We are approaching a real physical barrier for our technological progress. To solve this problem, scientists are trying to use these unusual quantum properties to their advantage by building quantum computers. In normal computers, bits are the smallest units of information. Quantum computers use qubits, which can also be set to one of two values. A qubit can be any two-level quantum system, such as a spin in a magnetic field or a single photon. 0 and 1 are this system's possible states, like the photon's horizontal or vertical polarization. In the quantum world, the qubit doesn't have to be in just one of those, it can be in any proportions of both states at once. This is called superposition. But as soon as you test its value, say by sending the photon through a filter, it has to decide to be either vertically or horizontally polarized. So as long as it's unobserved, the qubit is in a superposition of probabilities for 0 and 1, and you can't predict which it will be. But the instant you measure it, it collapses into one of the definite.
So that's quantum physics, in a nutshell. Adapted, and then they just took it and put it into computers. Really, it's honestly mind-boggling how they did this. And the reason, what you just saw right here, is the reason that it can break encryption.
State. Superposition is a game changer. 4 classical bits can be in one of 2 to the power of 4 different configurations at a time. That's 16 possible combinations, out of which you can use just one. 4 qubits in superposition, however, can be in all of those 16 combinations at once. This number grows exponentially with each extra qubit. 20 of them can already store 1,000,000 values in parallel. A really weird and unintuitive property qubits can have is entanglement, a close connection that makes each of the qubits react to a change in the other's state instantaneously, no matter how far they are apart. This means that when measuring just one entangled qubit, you can directly deduce properties of its partners without having to look. Qubit manipulation is a mind-bender as well. A normal logic gate gets a simple set of inputs and produces one definite output. A quantum gate manipulates an input of superpositions, rotates probabilities, and produces another superposition as its output. So a quantum computer sets up some qubits, applies quantum gates to entangle them and manipulate probabilities, and finally measures the outcome, collapsing superpositions to an actual sequence of zeros and ones. What this means is that you get the entire lot of calculations that are possible with your setup all done at the same time. Ultimately, you can only measure one of the results, and it will only probably be the one you want, so you may have to double-check and try again. But by cleverly exploiting superposition and entanglement, this can be exponentially more efficient than would ever be possible on a normal computer. So while quantum computers will probably not replace our home computers, in some areas they are vastly superior.
Very important. Quantum computers will not replace our home computers.
One of them is database searching. To find something in a database, a normal computer may have to test every single one of its entries. Quantum algorithms need only the square root of that time, which for large databases is a huge difference. The most famous use of quantum computers is ruining IT security. Right now, your browsing, email, and banking data is being kept secure by an encryption system in which you give everyone a public key to encode messages only you can decode. The problem is that this public key can actually be used to calculate your secret private key. Luckily, doing the necessary math on any normal computer would literally take years of trial and error. But a quantum computer with exponential speedup could do it in a breeze. Another really exciting new use is simulations. Simulations of the quantum world are very intense on resources, and even for bigger structures such as molecules, they often lack accuracy. So why not simulate quantum physics with actual quantum physics? Quantum simulations could provide new insights on proteins that might revolutionize medicine. Right now, we don't know if quantum computers will be just a very specialized tool or a big revolution for humanity. We have no idea where the limits of technology are, and there's only one way to find out. This video is supported.
Definitely check them out. I'm going to call them in a nutshell because they're hard to pronounce. But basically, this is, it looks interesting. It has funny pictures. It's funny. Yeah, no, this is a very good YouTube channel. They do very, very good work. Their videos are absolutely amazing. I mean, obviously, they have 14.2 million subscribers, so give them one more. But anyways, they just explain quantum computers, and that's the main thing I wanted to get out of this video, is to kind of go through what quantum computers are and just, you know, check out what they are. But also in there, you saw that they said that they were not going to replace modern or your personal computers. And that's the fear that everyone had with Bitcoin, is that it was going to crash because quantum computers were going to be your own personal computer. And while it can crack encryption, if quantum computers do crack encryption, the whole world is screwed. The whole world has a whole bunch of adapting they immediately need to do, you know? So they're not going to release this to the public. You're not going to have a quantum computer as your desktop. It's just not going to be a thing. What's going to happen is you're going to use quantum computers to develop better technology that is used everywhere, in the cloud, on your computer. You know, they gave a few examples in there, but you're going to see quantum computers helping technology grow from where we were. We were talking about that they made computer parts the size of an atom, and that is the lowest that they can possibly go. So where's that next line? And that is quantum computing, and it's not going to everyone, you know, and it is a little bit dangerous to have it in the hands of a few. You know, whether countries or corporations use it, I don't know. But I would assume it'd be corporations developing for the sole purpose of developing new technologies and new, you know, pieces of hardware, software, whatever it may be. Actually, my take on this is that quantum computers will actually help cryptocurrency and help Bitcoin reach new heights. I think it'll help with all of the slow transaction times on all of the blockchain networks. I think it will help with mining. I think it will help with a lot of those things. I personally do not own a quantum computer, so I don't really know how to do that, but I see the potential there just through that one video. I definitely think it's something not to fear over in terms of Bitcoin. And Hydrate, thank you very much. So another thing is, here's what a quantum computer looks like. These things are huge, dude. They're not going in your house. Look at this shit. Look at that. That's Google. Like, you're not... Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? You're only going to be able to use those. That's like a machine or a manufacturer or something, you know, using this to develop something. So that's what that is.